Hi, so in this video we are going to talk about how to get data which has more than 255 columns. So if you watch my previous video, that we are getting up to column 255 only from this section, but we have around 1563 column data, so we want to bring all the data instead of only up to 255. So the idea is that we can bring the data in incremental way, like get data up to 255 at the first go, then move on the next part of the 255 columns and so on. Okay, so let's suppose if we get this data and we get only up to 255 columns, in that case we can loop again and then move our columns to the next section, right? So let's see how can we do this. So when we specify in this way, right, then we specify that we want the data from the whole worksheet starting from A1 to the end, right? So let's try this. We call this source.open, right? And now let's see if our record set of fields.count is 255. So this 255 is max call limit is going to be this 255, or actually record limit. Maximum record limit is this 255. Then we need to consider that maybe we have more data, right? Else and if. Now we can say, okay, record set.fields.count has more than this 255 data. In that case, let's use this. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to write a do while loop, do while true loop. Okay, so we are going to just looping through. Now I'm going to create a variable range address, and then range address will be an interesting way of getting the range address. Okay, so I need a counter, correct, because where I am trying to retrieving at the moment. So here counter, so counter equals counter plus 1. So what we can do, we can say, okay, range, and then we can say, okay, cells, and then row index is going to be on always, column index is going to be counter -1 multiply by this max record limit plus 1. And let me just close this dot resize. Rows is going to be 1, column is going to be max record limit dot address false. This true false is the most important part of this video as well. So let me explain this. Okay, so if you have 255 records, then we may have more data. So in that case we are saying, okay, initially counter is 0, we are incrementing by 1, so at the first loop it will be 1. So we are saying, okay, 1 minus 1, that is 0, multiply by this number, that will say, okay, this whole thing will be 0 plus 1. So we are at the beginning, we are just saying that, okay, 1 1, that is the first cell A1, and then we are resizing it to go up to max record limit. Okay, only 1 row, and let me say inter column, and then we get the inter column, and then we are just saying, okay, give me the address of that particular column. So let me just say, okay, ap range address, and let's see if I just run this. What is this? Okay, cells. Actually I could just, yeah, so A to IO, if I just run again, this will be IV, so UV, so the next one will be IV, the third one will be SP, so SQ to ACK, and so on, right? And it will go up to the end of the data list. But let's see, so we get the range address, right? So if you remember from the previous video as well, that when we do like dot source equals to select dot from this part, we could specify the range address. And this false is important because we have the $sign here, and if we say, okay, without the false, then the range address will have the $sign as well. So that's why that false is important. That's saying that, okay, give me the row as relative and column as relative as well. So that is giving this SQ and SCK instead of like $sign and $sign. Okay, so that's why those two false is important. Now let's see we get. Okay, so we get this. Now let me just say, okay, dot source, so not dot source, record set dot source is going to be, this casing is not important actually, so you can use more calls $sign and then range address, that is the range address, and then is this one, right? Now open that record set, open. Okay, now we get that record set. Now we can use in this way that, okay, let me just grab this from the beginning, so it will clear out the old records and then put the variable here, get that. And now this is interesting as well, so I have to do like this. Range, now it will not be the A1, so I can just top cell range set top cell, actually top starting cell, this one, top cell, this is the top cell. So I can just say, okay, as the same mapping, so top cell dot address dot resize record set record count dot value for storage. And let's see if we run this, what will happen. Just copy this. If you have less data, I mean not more than 255 columns, so record set, and instead of top cell dot address, this will be the A1. Okay, now let's see. I know we have more than 255 records, so I'm going to put this breakpoint because I haven't added the condition to exit this loop yet, otherwise it will go into an infinite loop. So let's see. If I just run this, not allowed when the object is open. Okay, so record set dot close, let's see. So we get our first record, and let's see if we get correctly or not. So after 255, 465, so that's good. Let's try again. Then we get range address, closing, setting source, opening this, and then getting the data again and putting the data again. Now let's see what we get at this point. So we get up to 509 columns of data, and then we have this 466 rows. Let's see. So we get this Y509. We should have like 510, right? So let's see. We have page count, that's correct. We have records to 55. It should be that, right? IV1. So V, IV1, 11, 23, 21, what is 19, 21, 23. That seems correct. We have 255 record. So IU is 255 and IV is 255, so then it should be 50. Oh yeah, we have 510 columns of data. Now we can keep doing this. Okay, so let's run this again. So I think now we have around 1020 rows and 20 columns of data. If we run again and one more time, now we get this data that, okay, we have 1530 records. Okay, now if we run this again, then this is the interesting one, that when we want to get rid of this loop, you can say now failed counts is 33. So we don't have more data right now, because if it was more than this record limit, then we could keep looping through that, right? So we can add a condition that if record set dot fails dot count is less than max record limit, then we're done, right? So exit do, so and then this will exit that particular loop. Also it's best practice to close the record set dot close, set record set to nothing, and close the connection as well. close, set connection, nothing as well. So close this, close the connection, and that's how you can bring data when we have more than 255 columns. Okay, so let me run again. You can see 1563 columns of data. Now let me run this again. It will pull all the data and then it will put it here. So this is how you can handle, or you can bring data from a closed workbook. And if you have more than 255 columns of data, then this is the way to go. So that's it for this video. Let me know if you have any question or suggestion. Have a good day.